You wouldn't say, oh, come on. Why do I got to do that? Why are you making me do this? I just want to play. Who are you to tell me what to do? If you knew they were the best, and you wanted to be the best, and they said, do this, you'd be like, okay, I'll do that. And then I'll do more. That's right. Because you know what they can give you because you trust them. The analogy is clear in our faith. Not until we know who Jesus Christ is. Not until we know why and how we're made in His image and likeness, and the joy and the happiness that He has and is an expert in showing us how to live. Not until we believe that will we allow our faith to be real and not a burden. Until we meet Him, our entire faith becomes a burden. It's like a stranger in the street. You don't even know the person's the best soccer player, the coach, the best musician, the best teacher. Somebody on the street just taps you on the shoulder and says, you know, you ought to practice 4 hours a day. You'd be like, mind your business. Who are you to tell me? Because we don't know who they are. Our story of who we are begins in Genesis, the first book of the Old Testament. And it begins in poetry. And that poetry reveals how God did what only God could do. Only God could create something out of nothing. And the first creation story, Genesis 1, is a story of how God created the material world. How He created out of nothing in a very ordered way. The second creation story is a story about our view. The first is God's view of creation. On the first day this, on the second day this, on the third day this, on the fourth day this, all the way through day 7 when God Himself rested. It's creation through the view of God. The second creation story is the story of the same creation, but from our view to God. Which is why the story begins on the ground of God forming from the clay, the dust, the earth, a body, breathing His Spirit into that body. And the poetry says, man became a living being. Our story begins literally in the hands of God forming us. As the first story says, in His image and likeness He makes us. Male and female He creates us and blesses us and says, be fruitful and multiply. And in the second creation story, the story of creation from our view is the story of relationship. Is the story of Adam, literally named for the dust, the earth. Adam is from the Hebrew word ha-adam, which means earth, dust. And after God creating him, coming to the experience, through God's help, that it is not good that he is alone. And in being alone, the fulfillment of who he is not until God creates from him an equal, another, woe man. That's what the poet said. Woe man, out of man she came. And the truth is that from the very beginning, God created us male and female so that together we can have the deepest image of God. We're not meant to be alone is a main theme of this very first story. The human person, we are meant to be in communion with others. And every relationship is different, and some are more relation than others, more communion. And yet we learn from this story that the highest communion here on this earth, for us to image God, who is Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, the deepest relation is the relationship between man and woman. That somehow, ladies, you and the men, we're